Hello and welcome back to another video. Today is episode 16, I think. Episode 16 of Forming the Roman Empire. And I decided pretty late on, after filming the first original half an hour long clip, that this was going to be the final episode because I had had enough with just the constantness of it. So it may not seem it for the first half an hour, but trust me, this is the final episode. There is currently 3 clips I've got added, because I filmed the main clip and then I filmed 2 extra clips at the end. So yeah, just be prepared for at the end for it to suddenly just jump twice to 2 different things happening, which will show that everything just changes rapidly. But for the first part of the video, it's going to be quite repetitive, but this is the last episode, and then things are going to change for tomorrow's video, which I'm filming today, because I have to film Saturdays and Sundays tomorrow, because I'm not here, I'm not available to film on Saturday, and I'm never available to film on Sunday anyway, so because of that, I have to pre-record them, which, if I get done, should work out fine. Obviously, if you do like this video, please like, subscribe, and turn your post notifications on when you subscribe, so you never miss another upload from me. And let's get sort of into this video. I think I'm going to do this video a little bit differently today. Instead of the normal sort of narrating what's going on in the background, it's going to be a bit of narrating sometimes, and a bit of mixing in history facts, and a bit of just chat. So just sort of trialing things out, see how things work, so I can sort of build up better videos in the future. So that's the idea anyway. So let's get into this one. Also, keep an eye out, because soon, in fact, that could be tomorrow's video. That could be a good idea, actually. Tomorrow's video, already figured out, it's going to be the massive video of all of these different videos spliced together into one feature-length video. So tomorrow's video is probably going to be well over 3 hours long. Oh dear. It's going to take a long time to upload. So that's fun. I mean, if I start at I don't know, 3 o'clock today, it might be finished by 3 a.m. I wish I was joking about that one, but I'm unfortunately not joking. So that could be fun. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, we are obviously trying to form the Roman Empire, which obviously was a great empire back in its day, and obviously, I would say, I mean, some may agree, some may disagree, they were very technologically advanced empire, because obviously they had the aqueduct system and the ability to use that for effectively water, and then once they sort of fell, no one had it for quite a portion of time until it actually came back again. So it's not like the Romans were just another empire in the massive cog that is, the world. They were very much a inventive people, an inventive empire, which, obviously invented water the ability to get water into houses via aqueducts and stuff. And also they had the Roman Colosseum, which in itself is a major structure, and a major thing at that, because, well, it's the Roman Colosseum, it's a very known thing that Rome built. But, some may be aware, some may not be aware, this may be true, may not be true, who knows. But apparently, I was obviously watching one of my shows that I watch about history and sort of going around and finding history out, that apparently the Roman Colosseum was able to be transformed into like a water arena where it had like water in it, and they were able to put like ships into it. Obviously, the ships would have to be disassembled and then reassembled in the arena, because there's not like a door that you open and the ships can just sail in. Because I mean, that would be really interesting if they did build that, but they didn't. So you'd have to deconstruct and then build them up in the arena. But I think it was pretty cool that they had, or did potentially have, the ability to make it a sort of water arena, and also have the ability for it to be, for gladiators and the like, to be able to do competitions and stuff in there, which is quite incredible because, currently stadiums and arenas, are maybe able to hold a couple of sports, or, this sport and then, this type of thing, like, let's say English football, for example, and then rugby. I don't know why I went to rugby there, but yeah, you could have a stadium that's able to hold rugby and then football, perhaps. I mean, that would more be a grassroots sort of style of stadium, but the one I was trying to go to was running, because you could have like a racetrack around the edge, and you could do like a, shot put, running, high jump, football type thing, and that could all be in one stadium. But I think it's pretty cool to have a stadium where it's not just all land-based sports. You got a land-based ability to it, and then you can also have a water-based ability to it. I think that's pretty neat for a stadium. So I think the Romans did very well there, to say the least. Because there's not many, if any, that do that currently, without massive amounts of rebuilding. Because let's go with the Olympic Park in London, or in the UK. If they wanted to take their Aqua Arena, I think it is, or Aquadome, I can't exactly remember the name of it, and wanted to turn it into a land-based arena, they'd have to either dig out all the water, like the pool element of it, and then expand the arena and put seating up, or they'd have to basically concrete in the entire pool area, raise the floor up to the main level, and basically fill the pool in. And then you could do it then, but it would be a lot of money and a lot of effort to do it. So I think for the Romans to just have that technology a couple thousand years ago, when they were around, and we can't really do that now. I think it's quite impressive. I mean, we probably could, given enough money, but no one, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong about this, has. Obviously, drop it in the comments if you know someone who has, because it'd be quite cool to do a vlog of it. But yeah, let's continue. Just to quickly pop back into the game that's going on in the background here. We are, well, hoping to push into a lot of countries, but failing very miserably. And I will say that for the first part of this video, it doesn't go well. Like, it really just doesn't go well. But later on in the video, I just sort of, there's a gap. This is filming at like 11, the first segment of this video, and then the next section is at 1. So, it's from 11 to about half 11, and then I take a break for a couple hours. Not an actual break, because I'm working on the game immensely, trying to battle back all fronts, and then we come back to just finish the video, because I was very much considering ending it in potentially the next video, which would be tomorrow's video, but I'm going to end it today, because there's just no point of carrying it across at this point, because it's practically, there's not much that was left to do, so it made sense to end it today. But let's get back on to what we were saying. The Roman Colosseum also had a roof, technically, kind of. It had like this sort of fabric that could go over and sort of cover an area of it, which does sort of remain still. I mean, obviously the fabric part of it and the roof part of it doesn't. But you can see some evidence that it was there at some point. If you go to Rome, which I haven't been, I'd love to go to Rome at some point. I'd also like to go to like Berlin, places like Krakow, maybe even after the thing that's happening at the minute, possibly Kyiv. Obviously not going to go to Kyiv at the minute, because, well, obviously that'd be a bit dangerous, but, once things have settled themselves down again, possibly, Kyiv, or, maybe even going to, and this is a more close thing that could happen, possibly, Dublin or Belfast, or, maybe even go down to New Zealand and do a video in Auckland on, the trains in Auckland or whatever, for another one of my channels. And also, have previously filmed in New Zealand, not of New Zealand stuff, but I've previously filmed. In fact, I don't know if I was filming on this channel when I was last there, because it was 2023 that I was last in New Zealand. So, no, I don't, yeah, it would be in the period I wasn't posting on this channel, which obviously probably harmed this channel a bit, but back now, so let's hope the channel can grow again, because that would be quite important. But, at the end of the day, it would be quite nice to do like a, maybe, I mean, Australia would be quite nice to do, because obviously they have, some big, let's say, gaming creators. I don't know if anyone's heard of them, but a group called Power, they have over there. I mean, this is just me dreaming at this point, but it'd be nice to have some sort of like video with them in some aspect. Obviously, I know they do like Fortnite stuff, and I'm Hearthstone 4, so it's very much different sort of genres and worlds, but I'd more than like that at some point, because I do watch them quite often. I think they're quite funny. But potentially do something like that. Or at least, in like a vlog or something, go to some places they've been or whatever. Just, for the sake of it. But yeah, I don't know. I got many plans of what I'd like to do for all these channels. I mean, this channel, the next series. Oh, we need to figure that out, don't we? Right, the next series of videos, which needs to be better than this one. I'm sorry. Like, I don't mean that this one was bad necessarily. I mean, I definitely think there were episodes where I was internally crying. Potentially the IT issue episode. Oh dear, that one had me. That one legit had me thinking that I just didn't want to post it. But I had to post it because I had to post the video on that day. But it was absolutely awful. But the next series, I think, like, looking back on sort of my channel and some of the videos I posted, Germany did very well, like, really well. And then, surprisingly, the Ottoman Empire also did very well, and then Ireland also did well. Now, Germany I can expect, because that's a newish sort of focus tree for them, so I can expect that one. The Ottoman Empire Bit mad that one. Ain't got a clue. But was sort of a major power. So I'll let them off on that one. But Ireland, I like Ireland because I am part Irish, but I like the amount of views for that video compared to like doing this Roman Empire thing just doesn't make sense. It sort of baffles me in a sense because Italy is definitely a major nation. So from like Hearts of HOI4 nation wise, right? It makes sense for Ottoman Empire, Germany especially. And then you put like Italy up there with like Soviet Union as well, Britain, France maybe, as like the nations you expect to do well on YouTube. Ireland was not one I thought was going to do well. I mean, that video, I'm not going to lie, was me switching from recording with my phone to recording the screen itself. So I was expecting that video to, I'm not going to lie, flop. Like, honestly, was expecting it to do really badly. So the fact it did so well, I'm very shocked about. Because it was not something I expected to do well in the slightest, which honestly isn't something I expected to happen. Was it doing well? So that is just unusual. But I think for like prep to Japan, we could do potentially like 1 or 2 videos on Japan, and that sort of region before the DLC comes out. I'd like to do a couple of videos on Germany at some point. I'd like to do a video or 2 on Britain. Definitely would like to at least cover the Soviet Union a bit. Potentially do one of the Nordic nations. Potentially in America would be a good shout. I would say China. I mean, I'd cover China a bit just to sort of show, this is what their focus tree is now. However, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't do proper China coverage at the minute because, in my opinion, I know most people probably won't agree with this, might not, I don't know. I think China has got a lot of things for some nations, but I think it's sort of got a bit stale, where it's sort of been the same for so long that it needs the change that's coming through it, because it needs to sort of be mixed up a little bit, because the way it is currently is sort of very much you either go to war with everyone and just take everything, or you have to do these border conflicts and hope that works well and then take over national leadership, and it can get quite repetitive and boring, that one. So I think it would be quite nice to see these like new Chinese nations entering into existence, and see, because I haven't actually looked up on what's coming in the DLC much, but it'd be quite nice to see, what's the new ways of managing the Chinese conflict and civil war, what's the way of managing all these warlords and stuff. So it'd be quite nice to see, how is it going to fare from, what's currently there to what's going to be in the region. How is it currently to what is it going to be? I think it's going to be quite a nice sort of comparison. So I think definitely a comparison video between, this is how it was, before November 20th, and this is how it is now after November 20th, now that we've got the new DLC. So I think that'd be a pretty good video. Obviously, do apologise, this video is going to be a lot of me talking about quite a few things that aren't what's going on the screen. I did put a pre-warning at the start of the video, but if anyone didn't hear that, I do apologise. This is me just chatting about history and future for the videos and all sorts like that. So yeah. I think the next video I want to put on Germany. Like, I kind of enjoy playing Germany because they've got nice designs for all their tanks and planes and stuff of that caliber. And also their focus tree is quite nice and enjoying to go through. So I think definitely next one has to be Germany. I think, if I didn't put it on Germany, then it's got to be a good reason why it's not Germany. I think also a video potentially on Britain and the Navy would be a good video to do. So that's possibly a video coming soon. I don't know if anyone has a channel, and quite a few people do have channels these days. But when you're on like a PC or a laptop or computer or whatever, you can go into YouTube when I'm like posting things, because I post on my PC, because that's where I've got the editing software, that's where I edit and then export, upload, all that. You can go to an inspirations panel on like your channel, and then it gives you like AI suggested ideas based on your content of what you could do for a video. I have got some saved actually, which are basically about British naval dominance and then recovering for like lesser known British colonies. And I personally think they're a brilliant idea. I think I definitely will have a Millennium Dawn video again soon, potentially on, me talking about, British colonies and then going and recovering them. Like, we obviously know about the big ones like India, China. That's China. I meant to say Canada. Apologies to both parties. Hong Kong obviously was, something they had, but then, they also had Malaya, Singapore, and then they had quite a bit in the Middle East, Egypt, and then, they had, like, the British weren't short of territory, let's be honest. They had a lot of it. I mean, I think lesser known British territories is possibly a good video. I mean, I think an also good video is potentially German overseas territories, because I don't think as many people really know that Germany had a lot of overseas territories in World War One or before. Like, they owned, I think, Kenya. I could be wrong there, but I think they owned Kenya, or Uganda, or one of those nations. They held some territory like Samoa, I think, potentially Tonga. They held some territory in Oceania, in Asia. They once had Tsingtao, which they held in China. But yeah, there was a lot of territory that different nations held abroad that, some lost over time, and, the ones who lost the territory overseas, World War One level, not many people do realise these days that those countries actually had territory overseas, and actually held a colony or multiple colonies in some instances. Like, obviously, anyone who plays Hearts of Iron 4 will be aware that the Netherlands owns the Dutch East Indies, but, the Netherlands back in the day, I'm pretty sure had a lot more than just the Dutch East Indies and some territories in South America. Because I'm pretty sure they were, I'm not going to say global juggernaut and colonies, but they definitely weren't, a small little nation with a couple territories handed to them out of pity. They definitely went around and conquered a lot of things. Like, I'm pretty sure they found Australia and New Zealand, and then the British came in and did what the British do best, which is taking things away from other countries and making it British. But, these are things that are good to talk about sometimes. But yeah, definitely there'll be videos in the future where it's like a video specific on a purpose, like, say, recovering lost territories for Britain in Millennium Dawn, while discussing them or whatever, probably be just titled like Hearts of M4 Recovering Lost British Territories. And then while we're recovering them, I'll discuss, the history of them and sort of things like that. Right, so, it'd just be a good idea to have these sort of videos where it's like, this is the purpose of the video, and this is what happens in it. This is what it's about, and then during it, I'm sort of explaining what's going on in a sort of, gameplay sense and also historical sense of, this territory was potentially conquered in the, let's give a random example of 1908, and then was lost in 1988, for example, and was held for 80 years, and, was a key part of this bit of territory or whatever. Because I feel like this sort of side of forming Rome has sort of given me a lot of insight into, how I want my videos going forward. Obviously, it's all great and well to say, here's a series of just gameplay to form this thing, but the problem is when you get to a 16, 17 episode series on doing a thing and you haven't even got even slightly close to doing it yet, it does make you sort of feel like, why am I doing this series? Because all I'm doing is just gameplay after gameplay after gameplay and not really achieving anything. So I think in future, like if I'm going to do a series, it'll be like a 5-part series where it feels like progress is being made in every episode, instead of some episodes feel like they've got progress, some feel like they don't, and some just nothing happens at all. But definitely in the future we'll be switching up a couple of things of how things operate and how things are going to be, because I'm going to be honest, I don't like things how they are, especially how the series has gone. I feel it should have been shorter, and I feel like more should have been put into each episode in terms of, more things happening. And to some effect, I feel like the episodes, for what they are, I feel like if I was to go back now and be able to edit all the episodes, properly, and, refilm them in a sense, I feel like at least half would be cut. Like I'd cut half of the episodes out, because they just haven't got much going to them. So there is a sort of sense of, what is the point to them necessarily? But obviously with the way it was being done, it was, sort of tied in one episode to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. So that was sort of the way it was done. But, it shall be different, and it shall change for the next series and the next videos. Obviously I've been given some advice by a friend before I started filming this series, on I think his word or someone's word was spotlight videos. I do not know where I heard that from, but sort of like spotlight videos where you're spotlighting a subject, doing that, and that's the main purpose of video. And the next video you move to a different spotlight. So you're, tasking videos out to different subjects, where it's like one video is on the Navy, one video is on an Air Force, reforming the German Air Force that was lost during World War II, whatever, or reforming the German Navy, or Hearts of M4 Millennium Dawn, reforming the British Navy to its former glory, or something along that line, is a sort of style of video I'm looking to do in the future, which obviously you'll be seeing here. So make sure to turn on your post notifications when you do subscribe, so you don't miss that sort of content coming in the future. Now, In a few seconds here, you will notice that it suddenly stops and then jumps in time. About 3, 2, 1. It should happen about now. There you go. We have taken everything. I did a bit of work off camera. And we now have, well, the papal states, and we can now form Rome. So you'll see me start to form Rome here, and start to piece everything together. And then there's just a little clip at the end where I form the Arabian part of it. Because I forgot to deal with Arabia, so I did that off camera by just annexing them with console command. And then just did that. So if you did like this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss another upload. And please also do that if you've watched the massive episode, if you did like the video. And I hope to see you all in the next video, which will be the mega series. So bye for now. Bye. Okay, I did say bye, but I have one more thing to say, and that is that I sort of forgot that the video was still going. So yeah, apologies for that. If you're watching the mega episode, the next episode will be possibly on Germany. So I shall see you all there. Bye for now. Bye.